Hi everyone, it's Jim from Duper Survival. Today I want to show you guys how to build a real simple survival wood stove. What I purchased was 24-inch by 8-inch black stove pipe. I bought 2 end caps. The only thing we have up here is 2 Value Parker hardware, and all they had was these go on the outside of the pipe. If you get them, get the insert ones. It's just going to be easier to make the stove. And I got one 3-inch damper. And I have a bunch of old 3-inch stovepipe up top of my shed, so I'm going to use that. So let's move the camera closer and we'll get started on this. Okay, my stovepipe is 3 inches, and I'm going to stay away from this lip 1 inch in. So I'm coming out and I'm marking it 4 inches. And then I'm going to go back 1.5 inches, because that's half of 3 inches. So that's going to be at the 2.5 inch mark. And then just kind of eyeball this up. Outer edge of this is like 8 1/8. So let's go 4 1/16. Just kind of eyeballing it right there. And then I'm going to take my little awl and pop a little hole in there. Now, this is the outer edge. That's the center of my stovepipe right there. If I can show you the marks inside, this is 1 inch, this is half the stovepipe at 2.5 inches, and this is 4 inches, which is 3 inches. Okay, I got a little awl mark right there. Now, what I want to do is, I want to go 3 inches. So that right there is going to be 1.5 inches. Just double check all this. Make sure these are exactly on. Don't sell yourself short on this. Alright, so this is going to be the outside of my pipe. You know what? I gotta take my glasses off. Can't see. That is my 3-inch pipe. Now, what I want to do is, I want to leave a little more than 1/2 inch lip on this. So I'm going to go 7/8. And that will give me like 9/16 of a lip, hopefully, if I do my math right. Okay, let me show this to you. Alright, so this right here is the outer edge of my pipe. We're going to cut this out, and then we'll probably go around every 3/4 of an inch and cut in. And that's going to be our lip to hold our pipe. So let me go over to the drill press. I'm going to drill a bunch of holes in this. It's just easier with the tin snips to cut if you can get the material to move around with you. Okay, I marked 3/4 of an inch all the way around. I just eyeballed it. It does not have to be perfect. Drilled a bunch of holes in here. It's just going to be easier with the tin snips. I do not have a set of left hand or right hand tin snips. I just have straight, so we're just going to make small little cuts. In some of this video, I'll be working away, and I am just going to go to, I'll cut some of this out so that you guys don't have to watch all the tin snips and bending and curse words because it isn't fitting right. But just go slow. There isn't much work to this stove. And I looked all over the internet. I was trying to find the easiest way to make a stove. And I thought, that's ridiculous. And I think the galvanized is easier to work with. I think it's thinner than the stovepipe, because I think that's most of the videos out there are galvanized. And another part of this is there's no legs on the stove. You're not going to need them. See, with the holes drilled in it, stuff just moves right out of your way for you. And also, when you're working with this stuff, wear a pair of gloves. This stuff gets really sharp. Okay, that middle piece is cut out. Now I'm just going to cut each and every one of these right to my 3-inch mark. And try to get it right to that line. Try not to go past it. And they don't have to be perfect because no one's going to see it when it's done. I'm going to bend all these tabs in. I'm going to slide the stovepipe in it. And I'm going to waste a little bit of material on my 3-inch stovepipe. You'll see what I'm talking about. Because really, when you go and ever purchase a stove, the lip is on the outer edge. And I tried, darn this, let me show you that real quick. I took a scrap piece and I tried taking a 3-inch socket diameter around and pushing it through. And the stovepipe, it kept cracking and breaking. Now the galvanized, I think you can do that with it. Maybe if I'd applied, put a torch to it and heated it up, it might work better. But I'm trying to do this with simple basic tools everyone has at home. So now let me get a pair of pliers. And I'm just going to take these tabs and I'm going to bend them down. Maybe I'll start with some needle nose just to get them started. Hopefully you guys can see this. The real way of doing this is you're supposed to bend one tab down, one tab up. But I am not going to do it that way. Because like I said, I'm going to sacrifice a piece of stove. Alright, give me a minute here and I'll bend these all in. Alright, so now they're all bent in. Alright, give me a minute. I'll try to get that stovepipe in here real quick. Alright, I got the pipe in. And what I did was, real quick, let me show you. This is some old junk pipe that I got up top in the shed. So I'm using scraps and pieces as we do this. This crimp part is like 1 3/4 inches. So from the bottom of the crimp part up, I measured 4 inches and I cut it off. So the next pipe slides right in there nice. And then at the crimp part inside, I just took a black marker and I just marked a few spots and I cut it off. So this little piece right here is 4 inches. I thought I could drill a hole in here and rivet it, but I can't. There's no way to my angle of my drill to get in there. So I got a worm gear clamp. I'm just going to put that around it, crimp it tight, and that will keep this pipe inside here forever. Okay, that is done. So now let's go to the main part of the stove. Like I said, it's 24 inches. I don't need 24 inches. I think I'm going to make the stove 14 inches. Because I need some other material left over to do some work on the inside of the stove. So let me cut this at 14 inches and we'll start working on the door. Here's a cool little trick I want to show you. To cut this, I'm not going to use tin snips. I'll start off with my hacksaw and then I'll go to my jigsaw and cut this. This is just some emery cloth. It's really flexible. I measured back 14 inches and I kept making marks all the way around it. So I started rolling this around and I taped it at one of the marks, went to the next one, taped it at the next mark, all the way around. Now that I got it marked, I'll take it all off and I'll cut that real quick. I got the pipe cut to 14 inches. Now with this cap on it, it's going to be a little bit taller. Right now I'm already at 14 and a half, so it's probably going to end up being like 15 inches altogether. But I'm going 4 inches off the bottom and then 8 inches. I'm going to have a 4-inch wide door. I don't know my measurements this way until I get the lines drawn, but I did the same thing with the emery cloth and a little bit of tape. Measure up 4 inches, put that emery cloth on it, tape it, and that way you got straight lines. Because everything on a curve is tough. I don't know how long to make the door, I guess. Right now I'm going way over on my lines, but I gotta take a step back and look and see what I want. So, make sure I got that center. That's my pipe, so I want that door directly in front of it. So I got it marked. Make sure I mark it all the way good. Make sure you mark it really, really good. Okay, that's on there. And now, like I said, I'm just using painter's tape. You could probably do this with some duct tape. Put the duct tape back to back. I don't know if you could do it. It'd be so sticky. They probably want to stick together. But you could probably use tape to do it. I just so happen to have this painter's tape and this emery cloth. So there is the marks for the door. So now, hopefully you guys can see them marks. Yeah, you can. Alright, now I'm going to come over and I'm going to figure out how wide I want the door. Out of this other piece of excess pipe, I'm going to make a double door. So I cut this out, and whatever size I cut out, I'm going to cut the same on this one, maybe leave it up a 1/2 inch more so it seals off really well. So let me draw this out, and I think what I'm going to use is my Milwaukee rotary tool to cut the door out. So let me get this all measured up for the door. I'll get it cut out. I also have an old piece of piano hinge that I'm going to use on the door. So give me a little bit of cutting that door out, and then I'll get back to you. My door is on. It's not finished. We still have to put a hasp to hold it. Now, the piano hinge, I went to bend it. I lubed it up with WD-40. It would not bend. So I found these little hinges. I riveted everything on. So my little door piece that I cut out is right here. And then with that other material I had left over, I just laid it on there, traced it, went 3/8 to a 1/2 inch wider all the way around. The back part of this, where the hinge is on, this is flush. These two pieces stay flush. So only these 3 sides gets wider. So now what I want to do is I want to put a grate in here. So I'm going to take that excess, I'm going to set it up, and I'll draw an 8-inch circle. Well, I'll show you real quick what I'm going to do. Then I'll cut it out and we're going to rivet that in. And then the bottom piece, well, hang on, let's do one step at a time. I hope you guys don't mind me just going through and doing all this stuff. I'm just trying to make the video shorter. This is really a no-brainer on the door. You guys can all do that. So this is going to be an 8-inch circle. So this excess piece I got left over is 10 inches. So I'm going to come over 5 inches, draw a mark, which I already have, and then I'm going to come this way and go 5 inches and draw a mark. And I'm going to take this little awl, just give it a little tap. Now this right here is set up for 4 inches wide. So I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to draw an 8-inch circle. And I'm going to cut that out. But now, what I want to do is I want to bed some tabs over. So I'm going to draw out, I want a little file. Not a file, but where is my little, there we go, a little straight out here. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably come out That's 1 inch. So what I'm going to do is take my little straight edge here, kind of center it up a little bit. Does not have to be perfect. Just kind of eyeball that up, covering up the middle. Alright, and I'm going to draw these little tabs out. And these little tabs are what I'm going to bend over to hold this in. And then I'm going to drill a pile of holes in it to let the ashes fall through. And we'll go, oops, hold still there. I'll measure up 1 inch on this one here. We'll go 1 inch here. So now, like I said, I'm going to drill a bunch of holes, maybe 3/8 holes or 1/2 inch holes. And that will let my ashes fall to the bottom. So let me get this all cut out and drilled, and we'll put that in the stove. So the piece is all cut out. What I'm going to do, because I didn't really know how to lay it out, I just put my straight edge. This is 1 inch wide, so I just kept going, drawing a line each one, give it a 1/4 turn, and do the same thing. I'm going to start off with 3/8 holes, I think, because I don't want this to get, I'm sure this is going to get really hot. And I don't know, I'm taking a chance with this myself. I really should be using some screen material or something like that, but I'm going to give this a whirl. So let me go pepper the crap out of this. Alright, my piece is drilled. And by the way guys, I have a drill press, so this is going a lot easier. You can do this with a hand drill though. I did have to, you can see it, I had to cut one little tab out because where this pipe hooks together, hold on, where this pipe hooks together, you have to go over top of that. So, let's see. And this is going to be a tight little fit too. I might be off on my little 8-inch mark. But, once it's in there, it's in there. Alright, I'm going to bring it up. Well, we're close right now. We are close. I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to leave that, if you can see, I'm going to leave that, what are we going to call it? Grate, I guess. I'm going to leave this grate a 1/2 inch below the lip of this door. So to work this in here, I'm going to have to drill a hole, rivet one, and then work to the next one and try to get this as level as I can in there. So give me a few minutes and we'll come back to that. Okay, the grate's all riveted in, and all I did was took a tape measure and measured back and made sure it was 3.5 inches. If I had to tap it back with the hammer, I tapped it back. If I have to tap it from this end to get a little more, I did. Also, on this one right here and on my door hinges, I use backup plates for the rivets. Put the rivet in, put this on the back, and it just gives a little more meat to hold on to. So now, this is the part that I'm getting nervous on, because I did all this, and I hope I don't screw this up. I do not have a crimping tool to get this on. So, I'm going to take a pair of needle nose pliers, and I'll show you this here. And I sure hope I don't screw this up. You know, I already checked. This needle nose pliers is the same depth as this cover. I'm just going to take the needle nose and give it a twist. Move over a little bit, give it a twist. And I'll go all the way around this. I've never done this before, so hopefully I don't screw it up. But little by little, I'm getting a little crimped into it. I don't know if it's going to be enough, to be honest with you. Alright, I am going to work on this. And once I get this lid fit on there, this cover, for an ash door, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut like a 3-inch circle in the bottom of this and just make a little flip door. So to empty the ashes out when you're done with the stove, just pick it up, push the little door open, and you can shake out all your ashes. I think that's the easiest way to go. But right now, let me work on this, because I'm sure this is going to take a while, and see if I can't get this outer cover to go on. It worked. It took a while. I had to go around twice. That's why I'm saying, if you guys are like at Home Depot or Lowe's or something, they probably have these that go on the inside of this, which is going to make it so much easier. That way, when you cut off your excess material, you cut off this crimp part, and these will fit right inside it. So I wish that's what I had, but this is all I could get my hands on right now. So now I'm going to take this back off, and I think I'm going to draw, well, I don't know what I'm going to draw yet. I got to see how much I can slide, how much room I can put a piece in here to open up to let the ashes out. So let me take this back off and do a little figure of my own here real quick. I have the hole drilled in the end cap, and notice it is off to the side. So it's a 3-inch hole, so I use my little circle drawer to make the 3-inch hole. Then I cut another plate out of the scrap material. This is 4-inch, but I left a little tab on it. And then I found a little flathead bolt. I'm going to put that through, and since this material is so thin, I'm going to put a washer on it, because that square head, you can't get it tight. And you want it tight, you don't want it super tight. So bolt, washer, plate, another washer, put a nut on it, and then when you want to empty your ashes, just slide this off to the side. Empty the ashes out, and when you're done, reach back in, pull this over, and you're good to go. I think that's so much easier than making an ash door. I'm trying to do this project cheap and easy so everyone can make one. Alright, let me double nut this, tighten it up, get this on, and then I'll start working on the hasp for the door, and that'll be pretty much the end of the stove. Alright, I made my door handle. All I did was cut 1-inch wide piece by 3-inch long. I cut 2 of them. So I just bent the little handle, a little 90, and this other piece, and I got this bolted on because I don't want this to be super tight. I want to make sure I can still move it all the time. This one here, if you can see it, let me get a better close-up. See the little notch cut out in it? I just took my Dremel and I just run down the edge of it. I riveted this piece in. So these are real easy to make. I'm going to double nut this, but just put it over there, the door's closed. Now the only thing left I got to do is put some holes in it for the fire to breathe, and I'm not too sure if I want to put them down here below the grate or in the door. So when I figure it out, it's going to be a shock to me. It's going to be a shocker to you, because right now I'm just kind of dumbfounded on how I want to do it. I don't know if I want to just drill a couple holes and like on the bottom of this piece here, this oblong piece, this teardrop piece. I think I could just put that up here with the spring and slide it over so that you can breathe here. Or do I want to drill 3 holes and make a little triangle piece, or not a triangle, but like a little star piece to turn and open? I'm not too sure what I'm going to do yet, so I'll let you know when I figure it out. Alright, I decided, since we're going easy on the stove, let's just keep it simple. So I cut a little teardrop piece, and like I said, I'm not a professional tin man, as you can tell. But draw around that before you drill your holes. So I'm going to put 3 holes. I'm going to try to get as big as I can. I can only go up to 1/2 inch, so drill some holes. Then I'm going to rivet the rest of this up, and then we'll go start a fire in it and see how she works. The stove is completely finished. Inside the tab, I drilled 3 1/2-inch holes. So, like I said, keep it simple. This should give enough air for the fire. The door opening, I forgot to tell you what the door opening was. We knew this was 4 inches, I cut it 6 inches. So it's a 4x6 door opening. Everything's riveted in. I was gonna rivet the seam down the back, but I didn't. I put 2 rivets on both sides of the seam. All these rivets are steel also. There's nothing aluminum in this thing. So now I think I'm gonna go start a fire in it. I'm not gonna worry about the stovepipe or the damper. If you guys can build this, you guys know how to put a damper in. So I just got an old tuna can here. I'm going to set on top, start a fire in it, and let this thing get really hot and let it smoke out, burn all the stink off it. So, all right, let's go set it up outside and have a fire. The stove is working great. Once you put the stovepipe and the damper in and get a little updraft on it, but right now you can see the difference in the colors of the paint. Before you ever take one of these out, make sure you start a fire outside in it. Cap it off, you know, keep as much heat in this stove as you possibly can. And that way, all the toxins will burn off. And remember, this stove is not made for inside a tent. This stove has got to be sitting on the ground. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do a winter survival video, and it's gonna be in the winter time with just a little lean-to. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button.